Alien Resurrection. This movie is bizarre. In the third movie, you kind of understand why it's like weird and kind of crappy, but this one is just the weirdest film I think I've ever seen. It's as weird as Gremlins 2. That's a good way to put it. I just want to start off by saying that it was written by Joss Whedon. You know, Joss Whedon, the guy who did Avengers and Buffy and like Firefly, which why was that cancelled? He wrote this. I don't know why. Let's just get into it. What is Alien Resurrection? So essentially, 2 centuries after her death, Ripley's death, spoiler by the way, if you cared, some really smart people clone her. The reason they clone her is because they want the queen alien inside her belly. So they clone her and the alien. They take the queen out of her belly, and then they just have this like half human, half alien hybrid Ellen Ripley. Anyway, long story short, they breed a bunch of aliens inside this spaceship, and a bunch of pirates rock up, and now the ship is infested with a bunch of aliens. So Ellen, Ron Perlman, Will's mum, have to fight a bunch of aliens and escape, like every other film. It's got a great cast. Ron Perlman, like I said, is in this. He seems to be like the only cast member that is having fun in this movie. Like, he seems to be having just a good time. Sigourney Weaver has come back. Apparently, she wasn't going to reprise her role in this film. However, she said in an interview that they just sent her a truckload of cash. So she was like, I guess I'll come back. She is good in this. I'm not going to say she's bad. She delivers a decent performance. But you can kind of tell that she's just there for the paycheck. And her performance is so weird. Like, she doesn't feel like Ellen Ripley. Winona Ryder's in this. Apparently, from what I read, she only auditioned for this film because she wanted to brag to her brother that she was in an Alien movie. What privilege, but also, like, that's kind of cool. If I had the opportunity to, like, act in something, I totally would do it as well, just to brag to my siblings. 100%. Brad Dourif is in this movie. You know, Chucky. He essentially is just playing Brad Dourif. Like, that is what he's doing, but it works, and it's great. It's probably one of the more memorable performances in this film. He's just having a goofy time. Oh yeah, and Tuco Salamanca, you know, what's his name? Raymond Cruz is in this film. He's really young, and he's in this movie a lot more than what I was expecting. Because I thought this movie would be like The Rock, because he's also in The Rock, and he's barely in that movie. But this movie, he's sort of a main player. I was genuinely surprised he was in the movie way longer than I thought he was going to be. I don't know, his character doesn't really have an arc or anything, he's just there. Unfortunately, the weird thing about this film is it's the only Alien film. Even Prometheus feels like Alien, but this movie doesn't. It's the only one that does not feel like Alien. And I can't really explain it, but you have to watch it. There are elements that do feel like Alien, but you have to watch it. It's the most bizarre thing. The good stuff. It's well directed. The visuals look good, the practical effects are incredible. It was directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, I believe his name is. He is most well known for Amélie, which is like one of the best films of all time. He's French, which, by the way, what a crazy bunch of directors who've done the Alien movies. Like, all 4 of them went on to do amazing things, or had already done amazing things, and then, like, you know, Blade Runner, Amélie, bloody Seven, like, they all went on to do crazy things. That's just nuts. Apparently on set, Jean-Pierre, like, did not speak English. He had it translated with him, but apparently he was speaking French the entire thing. I don't know if he knows English. I would assume he probably does. But this movie is, like, one of the only big Hollywood films he's ever done, because it made him feel kind of gross with Hollywood films, because I don't think they treated him very properly. I assume it was probably very similar to the third film, where the studio was interfering with it quite a lot. Because I don't think Joss Whedon was the first writer. They only brought Joss Whedon on because he had experience with Buffy. And so they were like, oh, okay, this guy knows how to write, like, young, teen kind of girls who are badasses. Let's get him involved. And I was like, what? The underwater section is actually pretty decent. It does look a bit iffy, but, like, it's a cool concept, because there's one bit where they swim up to get some fresh air, and when they emerge out of the water, they're in a nest of alien eggs, and the only thing that's exposed because they're in the water is their faces. I thought that was really clever. I was like, oh, I see what they did there. So that was really clever writing. Oh yeah, the crazy, like, intense mega face hugger scene where they've essentially caged all these men, and they're gonna have face huggers ingest aliens into them, is insane. And it's over the top, but it's fun. It's fun to watch. This movie is a fun time. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the miniatures look awesome in this film. The pirates have this really cool spaceship that they fly around in, and it's the coolest ship probably in the entire franchise. Okay, this section I'm just gonna call What? From what I understand, Joss Whedon wrote this film as a kind of like a cheesy action film. Jean-Pierre, who directed, he took it seriously. So you have this like really cheesy kind of quippy script, and then this really serious direction and feel and tone. And you can feel that it clashes. It does not feel good. I think that's why the movie is sort of fun though, because it's like, it takes itself so seriously, but it's also so goofy. But because it doesn't feel like Alien, it's the most bizarre film. I'm sorry, it's so weird. It also does this really annoying thing that the third film did, and I wish this movie learnt from it. I think maybe Joss Whedon was like, oh, well, they couldn't do it, but I can. Because in this movie, it kills off important characters that like have heaps of screen time really early on, and so it's just like, what a waste of time. The third movie did it as well, but this movie I think it does it even worse, because it kills the characters like instantly, and it's like, well, I don't know anyone else. I kind of know, like, Ron Perlman, I guess. Yeah, Ripley feels bizarre. So, because she's a clone, and she's also kind of half alien now, every scene that she's in just feels slightly off. Like, I was thinking about her in this film in contrast to, like, the first two films. Heck, even the third film to a degree. At least the third film, she felt like her. In this movie, I don't know. It's so bizarre. She feels uncanny. Like, she just feels like almost a completely different character, and I guess she technically is. Originally what was meant to happen was she wasn't meant to be resurrected. Oh, get it, she was resurrected, that's why it's called Resurrection. But originally she wasn't meant to be resurrected. It was actually Newt. That was the original script and the original concept, but then they like contacted Sigourney, and she was like, I guess I'll come back if you give me like a bunch of cash. I think it would have been better if they just left her out of it and brought back Newt. But then it's like, why would they bring back Newt? You see? It's very confusing. Alright, the hybrid. Let's talk about this weird looking alien with a human face, but also not a human face. I kind of don't hate it. I think it's a cool concept. I'm glad they kind of switched things up, because this movie has its own alien, just like the third movie, which is cool. The hybrid is weird. That's the best way to put it. The scenes with it being born and Sigourney being in like the weird egg room is the grossest, weirdest thing in this entire franchise. She needed that paycheck, because the things they make her do in that like 5-minute scene of this hybrid thing being born, oh my god. It also kind of doesn't make sense. So they escape the ship, and like all the other Alien movies, it has to have like this big twist where like they're not safe, there's still something bad happening. I don't understand how the alien got on the ship so quickly. It's a big boy. But anyway, it did. And the second movie does the same thing. So if I'm going to complain about this one, I have to complain about the second one. The whole ending is just bizarre. And then I did feel bad for it though. I will give them that. The special effects were really cool, because it gets sucked out into space. And it looks like that really hurt, because it was like screaming in pain. And it just gets slowly sucked out and shredded into space. Other stuff in general, the film did surprise me with the wheelchair guy. Let me know your thoughts. I was like, the wheelchair guy, he's gonna die. The concept's cool, but it's not an alien film. It's like, it's a cool concept for a different movie. Maybe not this one. Maybe a spin-off film, you know, or like a comic book, but not a mainline thing. I don't know. Overall, I think I prefer Alien 3 and Prometheus over this film, just because they feel more like the first two movies. This one feels like a completely different thing. Fortunately, it is one of those rare movies that it's so bad it's good. So if you enjoy just like weird, goofy, crappy horror films, I think you'll enjoy this. I think you'll have a good time. Yes, that is my video on Alien 4. I'm done with the Alien movies. I don't know what I'm going to review next, but this was fun. I enjoyed watching these movies. I will never do it again. I probably will watch the first two again. If you've seen all my Alien videos, I appreciate you coming along on this journey with me. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.